Hey there, welcome to Carcassonne. This time it's Krishna versus Mosopal, of course, still the Champions League. And at least for one of these two, it's a do or die, because if Mosopal doesn't win today, don't think they'd still have a chance to reach the playoffs with 3 losses. Even though they would have quite an okay chance, at least against Podgard. I'd pick King Didi over Mosopaldo. And today they are definitely the underdog against 2022 MSO champion Krishna, current Latvian champion. Although the Latvian championship was played without Alexei, but still, I think Krishna was able to beat Napalm Eye in the final, and that's definitely no slouch either. Today, he's definitely the favorite. Will be the favorite against Portgard in week 5 as well. Against Mikhail will be a more open matchup. So quite likely he hopes to bank the match win today and would definitely like to improve his tiebreaker. So gunning for a 2-0 victory. So his top rating is somewhere in the 830s, I think, even though it took a pretty hard tumble afterwards, currently rated at 636, so almost 200 rating points from his peak. Yeah, had a few pauses last year. We'll see if he's in shape today. And Mosopal here with a peak rating slightly over 700, currently at 559. Well, definitely able to play better than that. We'll see. Let's check if they have started a tournament. Doesn't look like it, but at least one of them already created the first game. And as both have joined and the table is full already, I'd expect them to start maybe right now. If not, then in a few seconds. Looks like here we go. Yeah, tool needs a second to pick up. Doesn't, okay. Here we go. Yeah, exchanging a few pleasantries. When you're playing a regular game with slow time control, sure isn't any problem because you definitely have the increment. Else, if you don't want to waste any time, the chat box here is available before the start of a game. Yeah, Mosopal just closes the city. Why wouldn't he? Even Krishna. Although maybe Krish would start a new city and leave this one open. Well, we'll see. Yeah, so Latvian takes away a larger road here and forces Mosopal to think a bit about the crossroads placement. Definitely not ideal. So claiming this road here in both positions would be pretty terrible, as then a restriction quite likely. So maybe just attack this one. But if you do then like this, and as that's annoying, because this would for sure be restricted quite easily. What else is there? Maybe just dump it here. Try to do something against blue city. Claim this one pointer. Don't give a road end to blue. It's definitely not easy. I mean, more often than not, there is a good use for a crossroad. This here, I don't see one that's actually improving the situation for yellow. Yeah, in the end, he dumps it over here, trying to restrict, equalize, attack, whatever, blue city. I'm not a big fan of leaving this one out there. No, because there are still tiles that blue might not use here to claim this road end. Now yellow can snatch this road because there is no threat of an immediate restriction available. Also, the road end is there, of course. Blue tries to break yellow's top city. Yeah, and with this meeple attacking blue's road, of course, then this here will catch a flag because blue would happily enter this 2-to-1 mini battle. So yeah, we'll see this restriction, even though there are still all 3 daggers out there. Definitely not an ideal situation for yellow. So I'd rather not connect here, but wait for the next crossroads to at least disentangle this road meeple from the square here. And I would pick blue rather on this move than going for the connection, as the connection might also endanger their city on the right side. Yeah, and again, the Latvian forces mosopal to think. There's not a lot of great options. Maybe even going over here, trying to restrict blue into one of the available cities would have been a good use of this cow. This way here maybe too often leads to blue taking this city. So I'm not a huge fan. We'll see if Krishna goes for this or just continues this one. With 3 meeples in hand. We'll see. I think this city is too juicy to let it be, and British concurs, just takes this one. Self-invasion, of course, isn't ideal, but there are still splitters available, so even if yellow does block this or does try to restrict this, at least there are still 2 tiles to do something about it. Problem for blue is that this here already was the last left-handed dagger, and therefore this limitation here to a starting tile or rows was definitely necessary. But here we go, perfect tile for blue, snatching a very juicy field in the early going here, and also creating up top another restriction option against yellow's city and maybe even against this road again, although that road really doesn't matter that much as it's likely to be a shared one later on anyway. Not an ideal situation for blue here, with one shared square by these two monasteries and the road, with two starting tiles gone. Once yellow manages to extract the city meeple, a block, or rather restriction, surely should happen from by yellow. Yeah, indirect defense, likely. But blue gets the starting tile way too early for yellow's taste. Of course, takes the field as well, easily united with the current main field that's shared. And the city gets blocked anyway. This here also isn't without risk. Again, both splitters are gone, so any trip cow here or even the remaining extender would restrict this city. And with it, the other three features around the square here into the last remaining starting tile. But blue had a horse and not a cow in hand, and yellow was able to divert their city to the right side. Yeah, and in terms of the splitters that are still available, or in this case aren't, yellow could even try to kill this over here. But they decided to protect their monasteries. And yellow now is under threat at the bottom. And as blue had no meeples in hand, yellow just dumped the Dorito there, hoping to be able to claim this later on. This is creating volatility. Adding this here doesn't do anything because, again, this road is likely to be shared in the end. So hoping to draw the first crossroads here definitely is a good idea for yellow, because they are down by 16 points already. And this field here isn't even in blue's possession yet, because they weren't able to connect both fields yet. Because blue needs a straight to connect the fields, and yellow could block this route into the main field, I'm definitely not a fan of this one here, giving blue a meeple back. On the other hand, it gives yellow 6 curves to get the road closed, and that sways this into a rather favorable move for them. So yeah, I get it. But we'll see how this will turn out. A lot is hinging on this here. If blue closes that city, looks to be game over. And yellow definitely needs these 8 points. And of course, to attack the main field, maybe over here, maybe even here, or preferably quite likely after closing this city from the left, as that would be a rather safe approach. But of course, there's always the diagonal action here. That's rather tricky to navigate. But this time they don't have the luxury of just waiting. If they get a cap, they close the city. And if this then would be the death nail of this road here, well, so be it. On the other hand, this here might even give them a chance to attack the field. But for now, Krish claims the 8-pointer. Yellow sets up another city to be claimed later. Now we'll see the field attack. No, we don't. Okay, yeah, it's the last meeple in hand. Got it, but I think with 5 curves left and at minus 30, you have to bank on drawing the perfect pieces. And if these 5 curves plus 4 tiles up top to liberate 1 meeple, definitely would have gone for this attack. Desperate times, desperate measures. And blue adds an insurance farmer. And after yellow didn't claim this one, there doesn't seem to be any route back into this game, because now they don't have any chance to take over the field. And that's what they would need to do, as this field is already at 21 points and might still grow. Yeah, what to do? Well, if in doubt, blue could dump this here. Yeah, it's still possible to close the city even, although they don't need it. So first of at least 2 yellow's farmers trying to enter the main field. Second option could be over here. Curve, for example, like this would work. And there's still a crossroad left, so it's even not blockable. Yeah, yellow protects and also now has another option. So 1 vanilla left, multiple roads. This space here could be used to attack as well. So maybe Krish would restrict this option to the one remaining straight, and also take away the option of yellow adding another farmer at the bottom. Also killing this city for good. On the other hand, he could also take away the option of attacking here, either via the ninja or the 4 sketched attack with the curve in this orientation. Not sure which I'd go for, but yeah, likely playing against his immediate threat seems to be the way to go, especially because it also takes away the city, which could also be used for another field attack. And now at least this cap here would just try to set up things and not threaten 10 points for yellow. Yeah, this Dorito, well, what to do with it? Maybe on the left side, creating options to attack here. And if yellow manages to connect with the straight, even something like this here in desperation mode could help. Yeah, this works. But of course, blue takes this option away immediately. Yellow at minus 26 scores 4 points. That's definitely a good idea, because in some cases they might even tie the field and still lose. And that's why they definitely would love to get their hands on the remaining vanilla. Yeah, Krish quite likely will score these 3 points while also taking away the ninja option. On the other hand, this is the last crossroad, so he could also opt for a more high-risk approach, which would have been likely like this here, just to go for the field, hoping to draw one out of these 3 here. But if he misses, then this could be game over. So the same move was this one. Yeah, no easy options currently for yellow. Of course, they could try to set up something here, but the given permutation of tiles, that would be quite likely killed from either of these 2 squares. Nah, that's so out there and works in only a few select cases. So basically, yeah, although it's not as shabby as I initially thought. So if blue gets a cow, they could restrict the square to the remaining, at least in terms of connection options, to the remaining road Dorito, and then yellow would need the straight for the connection of both these farmers. And with other pieces, well, the daggers would immediately kill this one. The vanilla could limit this to the same Dorito. Yeah, so it could work. It's just quite unlikely. But unlikely seems to be the name of the game in this stage for yellow. Or at least they did go for a move like that and didn't just roll over. So kudos to them for at least trying to do something and finding a move that, even if only in a few permutations, but at least could work. Yeah, and 3 points for this farmer as well. Well done. So we'll see. Yeah, what's there to say about this? Mm, yeah, this road here was a bit problematic for yellow. And the twin caps, well, yeah, in many cases, you just continue your city and at least get a chance to restrict, rather kill in this instance, blue cities. Didn't work out for them though. And then in the end, it was just blue's early second meeple, the fortunate draw of this starting tile. And that, even though mosopal drew most of the caps and Krish had a lot of roads, so the tiles actually overall were in yellow's favor here. But having favorable tiles doesn't always win you the game. Also very crucial, of course, blue's vanilla here just in time to prevent yellow closing their city, and then they even got the Dorito almost immediately afterwards. Let's check. So Krish on the right side, yeah, this sequence here definitely not ideal for yellow, and it's not like they could have used the dagger this way to take away the attack because the Dorito this way, because all daggers to close the city were gone, so any road from the top would have immediately killed this. In the end, 28 points, so even a tad more than the field was worth. So just getting the vanilla and a third farmer onto the field could have saved it. Didn't work out for yellow, and now we'll see them fighting back. For their tournament life, they need this win. So first 4 points for yellow already on the board. Blue with a monastery already being threatened. Yeah, not ideal to place the starting tile there, and therefore I would expect this one. With one dagger already gone. Maybe blue has to wait a bit and rather use a curve, preferably maybe even a crossroad there, and afterwards go for the city on the left. But we'll see how blue will handle this situation. Yeah, yellow takes the road, and then blue quite likely will take this here first, as that might get restricted, and also then they would set up this nice square for the next monastery, and then they don't have any problem continuing their city on the left side, as a threatened square next to their monastery would also threaten yellow's road, and in some cases even both roads. Yeah. Also, maybe rather like this. That would also give an option to threaten kill yellow city, which was just broken by this quad. Kindly dumped by blue. Yeah, and 3 red X's in your calendar. Blue closes his only open city on the board, but with good reason. There just wasn't any place where he could have used this without increasing yellow's position here, because crossroads would have helped the roads up top, could have helped this road here by extension, and of course blue didn't want to help yellow's city on the right side as well. Therefore, the king of multiple cities just had to close his only one early in the game. Ooh, this attack is nice, but will he go for this one, or rather the bottom one? I would pick this. At least I think he will pick this, as he'd rather not give yellow a chance to kill the square with the what's already been gone and winning a 2-1 mini battle. Maybe he does something else entirely. This here. Oh, he goes for the triple city. I mean, this is the most effective way. Needs exactly 1 out of 7 tiles to connect, and then preferably just 2 Doritos to close the city at the bottom, while also restricting yellow's monastery stacking options there. He might even use this vanilla here just to take away this option and these splitters. The splitter, there is only one left. He doesn't. This time he definitely goes for another city. Hey, Josef. Yeah, Krish thought a second about meepling this field, but as this would be restricted to a 6-point field with any straightish tile, he opts for the saner approach. Takes the 2 points. Yeah, here is the promised attack by yellow, as blue didn't want to invest in their vanilla there. I mean, the problem with the vanilla was that these 2 daggers are already gone, so a limitation with a road of the square would have restricted the city to a 50-50. Well, if blue connects here, if not, doesn't matter anyway. The problem in this case then, of course, was this option to threaten 2 squares with 1 tile. And that, in the end, quite likely was the reason for blue not considering the vanilla for the city and just hoping to draw at least 1 Dorito to prevent exactly this attack. But there, of course, is still one of these splitters available. For now, yellow might attack this. Don't think it was really that necessary to protect this. There are still 2 daggers left and 2 roses. And this here gives restriction options that blue could choose with tempo while claiming this cap. Yep, this is too juicy to leave it with 2 meeples apiece, and therefore blue immediately attacks after yellow's connection. Yellow then restricts this one again to a triple city, but there are still 5 out there. And of course, the problem for yellow is this square here is next to the monastery, so it's rather unlikely that this one here sees the light of day without, well, it's impossible if blue doesn't connect here. Nice cow by yellow up top, trying to restrict blue city into a starting tile hole. Again, still one splitter out there. Yeah, quite a lot of relevant tiles now. Yellow has to do something about this road here. So even straights are rather crucial for them to at least get a chance here to close this, as they need crossroads on the left end. Yeah, but at least this here also takes away options from Krish to play against this, because whatever he'd like to do here would also threaten a kill of this square, and with this a kill of a city up top. Okay, he plays for ruin right now, taking away an attacking option, and no, it's not necessarily ruin. Takes away this here, so if he gets a horse, could take 4 points. Might refrain from this option though, because this would open up city again. So maybe over here. We'll see how this will turn out. Yeah, yellow invests this road monastery to claim a main field that's worth 9 points. Has a bit of potential at the bottom. There are still twin caps out there, the splitter as well, so dumping more caps on this field is rather likely. Yellow tries to restrict this, is semi-successful. Now quite likely should kill this with the vanilla. Semi-successful because blue could have protected this, but only to a 50-50 shot. So he rather hoped to draw, hoped for yellow to not draw any blocking tile, and used on the starting tile as it's the penultimate one for his possible city up top. Also has now 1 rose in hand, which yellow desperately needs. Yeah, interesting choice here. Could restrict this one, but you really want to give your opponent this road and this cap? Nah, you don't. Maybe this here works better. There are still significant number of Doritos out there, so maybe that could work nicely for them. Well, he goes even for the direct approach, but yellow gets a ton of love from the deck here in this instance by drawing a perfect piece for them. The splitter to equalize this situation at 8 points per player. Yeah, another 3 points to yellow's field. But they are only up by 2, so they definitely need to pad this more and close one of their other features after the monastery is killed. Yeah, this time blue goes for the starting tile restriction while also claiming a 6-point field, and well, if yellow gets the rose, blue would get another city on their field. And if blue gets the rose, in some cases they might even just close this one and take these 5 road points, which would be then exactly what they'd score overall for this move. Yellow creates a 6-point city to be taken with the starting tile here. Problem though, it's a 6-point move for yellow, scoring 6 for the city, 3 for the road, 3 to blue's field. And it's a 6-point move for blue, 6 for this, 3 for the field, 3 for the road. So a 50-50 flip as a 50 flip could be just a bit more complicated than usually. Yeah, but all these 50-50 flips are definitely good news for the side with the meeple minority, which currently is yellow. And it doesn't look great for them with blue drawing all these crossroads. But there's still hope. They just need to hit their outs, preferably rather sooner than later. Blue could try to restrict the field here. Yeah, or protect this ruin from a future attack maybe. But this here, I think, was the right choice. Yeah, not enough curves out there to set this loop up to add even these 2 cities onto blue's field. Yeah, here we go. First flip, 1 for yellow. 6 points in their favor. Blue set up an option to attack this one. Could now execute. There are still 3 tiles to connect. The regular crossroad, rose, and a dagger. Yeah. But they are at -2 only. So they don't need to fight for the field. They have options without trying to equalize this field. Chances for yellow to still add cities there are pretty slim. Basically looks like the only option would be the Dorito here with twin caps, as they use the rows up top to either claim a 5-point road or the 6-point field on the other side. But blue opts for the attack. And this then gives a clear path for yellow to win this one. Just outdraw your opponent, get all the free connection options. With this, they'd secure these points from the city and should be able to win this game. If yellow, on the other hand, manages to connect here, well, it's still flipping for this one. Yeah, both with rather useless tiles right now, although mosopal at least can set up field attacks, although he doesn't need to actually. He wants to. Could even claim this field immediately and attacking this field. But maybe adding this here, hoping to draw the rows and possibly, if necessary, have an attacking option against blue's then 12-point field for later. Would have been interesting. On the other hand, trying to kill this square here definitely moves the needle way more. There's no total block available, so only the 50-50. But as yellow rather needs the rows anyway, restricting blue's connection square to the same tile works or would work in yellow's favor. So I would think that blue protects here to still have two chances, the dagger and the crossroads. Although the crossroads would work there as well, so actually they don't even need to defend, right? Because if yellow restricts this like that, there would be one tile here and another tile there. That's two tiles. And the self-restriction would also give two tiles, even though both could be placed there. Yep, and here we go. Yellow claimed the 5-point road. Blue immediately jumps on the field, hoping to draw these caps to score 6 more points. And now this restriction makes a bit more sense, as then only one tile, the crossroads, would be left for blue to connect at the bottom. And I'm pretty sure this improves yellow's winning chances more than claiming the 5-point win, for example. Okay, they just take away a cap from blue, while also creating an option to attack this field. On the other hand, there would be a ninja to attack blue's field, but they are at +1. But now blue's connection here is inevitable. Blue will get 2 moves and at least hit one of their outs. Basically, yellow is not at +1, but at -8. And they'll have to play this way. So how do they score this many points? When this is already the penultimate move, well, claiming the 6-point field here, right? Should be enough. Because blue can't close a city on their field. They don't have a meeple in hand. Yeah. Yeah, so after all, Yeah, looks like taking away the cap here might have been better than restricting this one. Yeah. And mosopal fought, he lost. Yeah. No problem on my end. Always enjoy a decider. Ooh. That's terrible if you wanna play on this level. So I hope he gets at least a few minutes of silence to focus on the decider and not on his kids. And then later, maybe I try to take a look at this situation. That was is this move? Yeah, I think. Yeah, it was. So 128. Okay. At least that's easy to remember. So this time it's mosopal with the starting player advantage, makes good use of it, scores 4 points, gets a nice monastery, while the shit can of tiles is dumped over Krishna. So great to start the game. Always annoying. I mean, there are worse tiles, but not a lot. Krish goes for continuing this city, not self-invasion to secure this and run away with the big one. Gets support from the deck. Yellow only gets city plus road pieces. No option to attack or restrict blue city. So they try to build up their monastery. And now, of course, they attack this one here with the first chance they got. You're looking good here for yellow. If they manage to get a Dorito soonish, and they definitely won't mind getting it immediately, they have to take care about this city. But else, it's looking fine. Yeah, the monastery is a bit under fire. One dagger already gone, but not the biggest problem of this world. Yeah, might even claim the city. Yeah, sure. Restriction to a starting tile might be incoming, but at least there are still 3 starting tiles out there. Whereas this here, of course, it limits blue throat to the same dagger, but also there's the option to do the same to yellow city. And if we then take into account that there are still way more straights. No, way more is wrong because I see 3 states on the board, but definitely more straights than crossroads left to connect these roads. Maybe this whole exchange here in the end might not be in yellow's favor. And now at least they get to shore up the monastery up top while also securing the most vulnerable square of this one. Yeah, blue goes for the immediate city restriction adding a road end to possibly be claimed by their road. Yeah, and what? I would have never expected this one. I mean, sure, there are only 2 road Doritos left, but also 2 horses. Okay, and 2 daggers. So why restrict this if it doesn't improve your chances? But still, closing the only safe city when there are 2 extenders left, it's definitely not a typical Krishna move. It's really atypical. It looks like just did want to get meeples back ASAP to invest them. And well, with this prime monastery spot available, and likely the need to have a meeple to attack the city, the foresight of this move here, yeah, at least I do understand this. Yellow restricts their monastery, the roads, and blue's monastery to the last remaining crossroad. Which in yellow's hands would be a prime opportunity, giving them these 2 meeples back. Maybe blue's monk would be liberated, depending on the square, of course. But it's rather likely that blue's road meeple won't be liberated of the crossroad. Yeah, multiple options for blue. For one, of course, closing this road, but there are so many curves still out there. Might just connect there or do something with this cap on the left side, although I'm not really convinced, but I'm also not convinced about this move as there's a second option to attack this city. Yeah, so he goes for this. Okay. Yellow rolls the dice, hoping to outdraw blue. So, for example, a Dorito could be used by blue. Try and connect here with still 2 horses left, threatening city takeover. This restricts the possibilities for blue quite severely. There's only 1 road Dorito left, and yeah, this is ugly as hell, so they'd rather go here. But of course, they still have daggers and roses to complete this city, while also keeping the threat of attack alive. And in that case, yellow might even refrain from attacking or self-invading their city, as this here would only be a 50-50. I think this farmer is a tad early and the field is way too shabby. I mean, restricting blue's monastery is fine, but the prospects of this field aren't that great. It doesn't strike me as a good farmer. Rather hold on to that meeple and invest it later more with more profit in mind. Both claiming caps, but blue also threatening yellow city. Yellow can't defend. But at least restricts blue's road here, So blue now needs a curve and a road end. Blue is ahead. Could just close this road up top to prevent any restrictions of this road from the left side with tempo, but they prefer to protect for one their road and their chance to still snatch a 4-point city here, and also give themselves a 4-point road if they hit the Dorito. Meanwhile, on the other critical tile, the crossroads were drawn by yellow and blue gets this meeple up top back while also setting up another option to attack this city. Yeah, it's still a city. There is one vanilla left. There is one Dorito left. It could still be closed. Blue could attack this with 4 meeples in hand. Maybe they even should. Even though there are only 2 big city tiles out there, and the chances are just too great to pass up on that. Okay, restriction happening by yellow. 1 splitter left, but also 2 field Doritos for blue's connection. And of course, these daggers here are critical as well. Yeah, and there is the splitter. Yellow jumps on the chance to separate their big city part here from blue's smaller one. Again, another attack could happen. One problem for blue could be yellow's field here, because this farmer's field extends all the way to blue's road square. And well, if blue closes the road, they'd supply another city. So maybe we'll see an attack through the dagger later on. Because for now this would severely increase the chances of this farmer here. And then a unified field in yellow's possession, which doesn't serve this farmer well, of course. Okay, here we go. Field attack is gone for now. This square was killed by yellow. They are at +2. And self-invade, just in case blue gets this road Dorito. So this option is still alive. And in some cases, it's not even possible for blue to reconnect from the left side, but it's also possible to immediately kill this square. And blue goes for the fieldless option. Snaps this cap added by yellow. I don't think this was your winning condition. Yeah, -8. Krishna has a 50-50 connection, but it doesn't actually matter if he hits or not. There's nothing for yellow to really outscore blue on these last two moves after this one. Hmm. Oh, looks like yellow wanted to take this field. Didn't even notice that this is connected to that farmer. But why not just claim this road? I mean, there's nothing better anywhere. Yeah. Not convinced by yellow's play in the end. So first off, let's take a look at what was it? A cow in the second game. Okay, so yellow is at +1. Any cap over here, +3 for blue. But these twin caps, for example, would also give back attacking options against this field. And on the other hand, let's just stick to yellow's plan. They take away city, although it could still be closed actually. I mean, this would work, but it doesn't help blue. They don't have a meeple in hand. So, although it helps blue actually, would help blue because it would take away this field here. Okay, but let's stick to yellow's plan. So kill this cap, acreage, not do anything about this situation, just either hope to get both of the connection options. Rather unlikely, but let's figure out how unlikely. So we have 5 tiles left. We care about dagger and crossroad, and we need to draw both, right? So very unlikely it is. 1 in 10. And therefore, when you place this one, you have to be sure that there is a way to outscore the 9 points this farmer here will gain upon connection. And there is this 6-point field. And then you are at -2. -2, so you still need to score a few more points here. 3 would suffice. Hi, Volker. Where would the road monastery connect this farmer into the field? I don't see what you're talking about. Here are coordinates. So if you want to address a specific space, long road from yellow. Oh, over here. Yeah, but if blue has a 90% chance of connecting to this bottom field to equalize this, the monastery doesn't help yellow, it would help blue. And yeah, you're right. If blue gets one of their connection pieces at the bottom and the road monastery, it's game over. Although there are even some options where yellow could use this attack and bank on drawing the road monastery, but actually it doesn't work. Although, yeah, blue could take away this option. Anyway, where was I? So this attack, 90% chance. Yellow needs to score quite a few points here, 9 at least. So they need to get, well, one of blue's connection pieces to take this field. And then could still score something somewhere, yeah, straight over here, which was the case in the game works. One of these city caps would work to claim this one. Oh, and straight at the bottom after blue connects works as well, or even before blue connects. Yeah, so is this better than trying to block? That's a very good question. So if blue connects and snatches the monastery, I don't see any chance for yellow. Not even with this possible equalization move over here. Although that does the same than this one. So the score would be the same and yellow would be still at +1. Yeah, okay. There might be this option available, but it's only an outside chance. Yeah, in the end, it just comes down to whether yellow is able to draw one of these pieces, and doesn't even matter whether blue tries to restrict this. Of course, they'd use this connection here and not go for a restriction. And then it's just being down to a coin flip whether yellow hits this one or not. So to me, this looks like that here definitely was a good idea. How about this one? Well, then yellow only needs to draw the crossroads. Because if blue doesn't connect here, there's no chance for them to win the game. Even if they get both caps, this would only score them 6 points to see them at +5, but yellow then easily claims a 6-point field, maybe even a 9-point field on the left side. But is this better? I think it is. I think it is, and the reason is blue only has the one tile versus two, and you could still use both tiles up top. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to take another look and try something with the permutation analyzer to figure this out. With still 6 tiles out there, there are definitely too many permutations to tackle them all. But yeah, to me, this looks better. Yeah. Okay, then third game. Not sure where or when to start. It's completely wiped from my memory what happened there in the end. Yeah, yellow's attack up top after the splitter. So far, so good. And then now yellow either placed the cap there or attacked. And now they attacked. Okay. Does this attack even help them? Well, it for sure gives them a winning chance even if blue hits the Dorito, but actually, let's consider yellow connecting up top. Let's switch to the shielded mode. So that's +4. Okay, there's still a chance to close that city actually with the Dorito. Okay, for my example, that's a bit annoying because the one thing I'd like to illustrate is even if yellow has 2 meeples on this city, if it couldn't get closed anymore, which might be the case later, would still be a profitable move for blue to claim the road here. It's 2 points, and well, if they, as happened in the game, would have meepled this left field, then this would also add another 3 points for a city. Yeah, so the ideal move for yellow, of course, would be to claim the Dorito and the field himself, while also already having the attack underway, and therefore this attack sure seems fine. I mean, it's a close game, and this year at least takes away the best chance for blue, which is the direct connection, while also closing this one or preventing another attack. Yeah, so that seems fine. Yeah, blue closed the road, snatched the field. Yellow did want to keep the meeple in hand, quite likely because of this Dorito situation. Because again, closing this one here gives them these 2 city points, takes away 1 point from blue. So that's 3, scores another 4, that's 7, minus 3 for the city. So that's a 4-point move. Which is basically the same as trying to close a small city, except, well, if that small city is on your field, that's of course another 3 points. Yeah, the problem was, of course, the Dorito, and it's just sheer luck that blue got the Dorito. Yellow wasn't able to restrict this, and blue immediately drew a cap to attack. So this move is totally fine. I mean, chances for blue to execute what they did in the game are minuscule. Just so happens that this permutation was the one we saw. Yeah, I mean, there are still 2 caps to close this. It's totally fine. Oh, yellow got something to restrict blue. Well, then that's different. Yeah, you have to play against the city. There is no other alternative. Yeah, there really is nothing else. Oh, you could threaten this up top, but then you need to draw the Dorito, the horse, and one of the remaining caps, and quite likely the vanilla. Yeah, and blue has multiple killing options available. But this move here actually would force blue to... No, it wouldn't. Wouldn't force blue to use the vanilla up top. Where is it? To block this, because even if yellow gets their hands on this one, there'd be a block available against this one. Yeah. Yeah, it's just shitty that yellow only has the one meeple in hand, but at this point, I mean, all in, hope to draw one of the caps next turn, and then ideally horse and Dorito. Leave blue stranded with these curves, but definitely don't give blue the chance to attack the field here. It's 12 points, and if blue manages this one, this attack, then it's game over, and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. I mean, this approach by yellow could also work. I think it's more unlikely, though. Well, then that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I see you around. Bye-bye.